Hello, everyone, and welcome to our universe.
The CayVin Universe.
We are your host. I am Vinny.
And I'm Caylin.
You can find us at the CayVin Universe on social media.
And you can email us at thecayvinuniverse@gmail.com.
So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for joining us. I know we got some new listeners from some new places around the world. So if you're listening to this for the first time, thank you. Please let us know what you think. Like we said, feel free to email us, contact us on social media. Any comments, questions, suggestions, go and reach out to us. So other than that, what's going on?
Not much.
So today...
Taking it day by day.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, well, I don't know.
When will the madness end?
Yeah, exactly. But we're not here to talk about that today, people. You know, we're here to entertain you and talk about, break down if you haven't seen or you didn't get a chance to see the AEW Fyter Fest 2-night, basically 2 nights over 2 week event, free event.
Two Wednesdays in a row.
Right. Well, they labeled it free event because it was like a pay-per-view like event, but you get it all, on cable TV, which is technically not free. But anyway, because it's like during this whole time with, COVID and everything, like how can you really expect to charge people, for a pay-per-view? So they did the right thing there. And then, of course, WWE NXT tried to compete by having the Great American Bash run at the same time as that, which, if you don't know, look into it. But, there's a whole history, with Dusty Rhodes, how, his name is basically connected to the Great American Bash. And, when the trademark went out a few months ago, might have been longer than that. Cody tried to get the trademark, and then WWE rejected it because it sounded too much like The Bash, which is what they changed the Great American Bash to. They changed it to The Bash, so... What way to top off all that insult to injury than to have the Great American Bash, Dusty Rhodes' pay-per-view, essentially, go against Cody's AEW Fyter Fest pay-per-view.
Yeah, because Cody's way up there, And I know I had mentioned to you before, one of the cool things I like about AEW is that, like, Cody Rhodes being, like I said, up there in the, I guess, he's like owner or, like, how would you...
he's like vice president. He's basically
president.
That's the thing. It's hard to really know what all of them do, but basically he's one of the guys that sits in the room that decides what goes down in the company as far as storylines and everything.
So the point of that is I think it's cool that you have somebody that's of high importance in this company and they're able to still participate, I like how he's still going out there and wrestling and stuff. That's cool.
That's true. Because Triple H would do that too for a little bit, but
stopped,
right?
Yeah,
exactly. And of course that's age too, and a lot of the fact that he's pretty much done it all already.
Yeah.
But it just... That's another thing too. It's just crazy how you have them going back to back, like in that sense, it's more of a psychological game. And they even asked, speaking of the game, they even asked Triple H about it, and Triple H's response was, "Hey, y'all know this is just healthy competition."
Yeah.
Like he literally basically admitted it.
Yeah.
Like, we're competing. You've seen this before. Like I said, I hate to call the AEW and NXT thing an actual war, but if you wanted to, Triple H technically has been in two. Triple H was basically, in WWE while WWE was going against WCW, and Triple H was the top guy in WWE. So basically the ratings was on him, along with a lot of other top guys, but, he was involved in that too. So, so essentially he's been in two quote unquote ratings wars, but if you enjoy NXT and you enjoy AEW, there's nothing wrong with watching both, especially nowadays. Back then, it was such a big deal with the war because you didn't have things like DVR. You didn't have the internet to look it up, what happened. Like, you had to watch it pretty much then and there.
Yeah, you had to watch it live.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you knew someone that knew how to rig up, where they could record on a VHS tape.
Yeah.
I did that a lot with wrestling pay-per-views as a kid, but I remember literally spending my allowance money sometimes on just buying blank VHS tapes so I can record wrestling pay-per-views.
Wow.
Yeah, and wrestling
cool
shows
memory.
And even things on cable, like I would record like SpongeBob and my
God.
brother would record like The Simpsons and Family Guy. Good times. Wow. A lot of people don't know that life.
Right.
That's why you appreciate things like, the internet even more. The fact that we can just, like I said, record AEW and NXT or just jump back and forth or just look. You can, see the highlights with snapshots on Facebook. You can see highlights on YouTube. Like AEW pretty much puts everything out on YouTube after the fact. After they get the ratings in, they pretty much don't care. So that's pretty cool.
It's funny if you're listening to this and you're wondering wait, what did he say? VHS tape.
Right.
What's that?
What's a VHS tape? Yeah, it was basically a big box that you had to record TV shows on. If you couldn't watch them right then and there, that's the only option you have, and it required you having a VHS to have the capability of doing that and having an empty tape. And then there's times where you don't have a tape, so you have to record over other tapes. Like there was a trick you could do. Now I'm getting way deep into 90s nerddom.
I know.
But so if you had an old movie that you didn't want to watch anymore, because like usually you can only record on blank cassette tapes, and then you can re-record on blank cassette tapes, but there was a flap of the cassette tape that of any movie. So let's say you had fucking I don't know what's a movie that you could record over VHS. Let's say you had a Groundhog Day on VHS, and you're like, I'm tired of this movie, I'm going to record over it. You would have to put a piece of tape on a I'm echoing. You would have to put a piece of tape on the side of the VHS tape, the certain part, and then that would allow you to like bypass, where you couldn't record over it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know all this?
Yeah, but anyway, so that was a real ratings war when you literally people would channel flip, and it was up to WWE or WCW to keep them engaged and to win the ratings. So
one thing, did you see what Stephanie McMahon posted?
No.
You didn't see what happened?
No.
Her grandmother died.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit. So Vince's mom?
No, her mom's mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But still pretty sad.
I know, it is sad.
Yeah.
There's a picture of them she posted. A lady, she was really old, but
really?
Yeah, they look like they had a good relationship.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sad. R.I.P. Miss whatever. I don't know. R.I.P. Steph's mom. We were going to get into some other stuff before, like I wanted to get into the Unsolved Mysteries and the Crash Bandicoot, but honestly, I mean, I don't know, we can just get right into the AEW since we're on the topic already.
Yeah, we're already on the topic,
But before we move on from that, I mean, we are, I guess next podcast we'll do that. Next podcast we are going to talk a little bit about Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
And we'll talk a little bit about the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy remake that I've been playing. So
just recently started.
Yes, a game that's so easy but yet so hard.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll get more on that next week. So if you have anything, any story to tell, any reviews or any comments on any of those two, go ahead and send us an email or message us on Instagram, and then we'll talk about that next week. I would hope everybody has seen Unsolved Mysteries by now, because it's so good. Well, yeah, were you talking the original or the remake? Because that's another thing, the comparison we gotta talk about.
But the remake is really good. Yeah.
Well, so yeah, send us anything on that. Probably actually not next week. Probably next podcast, which will be Saturday. It'll come out Saturday night. Yeah. So we'll talk about that then. Cool. Sounds good.
Sounds coolio.
Nice. All right, so let's start breaking down Fyter Fest. So we'll break down night one. So of course it kicked off. We got to talk about how Chris Jericho on commentary.
Oh yeah, he's funny.
He was on the commentary for like half the night, and then he stopped.
No.
Was it the whole night?
You know what? It was half the night, because remember they had to send him to the back after he was calling out Orange Cassidy.
Oh yeah,
in the audience.
I love when he tried to attack Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy just kind of like brushed him off, and they're like holding Orange Cassidy back, but he's like not even doing anything. He's just standing there. And Chris Jericho is like yelling in his face. They're really holding Chris Jericho back, and Cassidy's just like, what? Yeah.
There's like it takes 6 people to hold Jericho back.
Yes, and so that's so I mean, ironically, that's kind of cool how they did it. It's kind of started with Jericho, and then night 2 ended with Jericho. Similar how like night 1 ended with the Kenny Omega and Hangman Page tag match, and then it started night 2 with the Hangman and Adam Page tag match. So I don't know. I just thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get into the very end with Jericho and Cassidy. Yeah. Which of course I have a lot to say about that.
I know.
So then next we had that Jurassic Express. So you had Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus versus MJF and Wardlow.
MJF was.
What do you think about? Okay, yes.
Crossing it.
So what do you think about MJF?
He's so fucking annoying. Like, I hate how he's like so obsessed with himself, and I was just, conceited, the same thing. Yeah, he's just conceited, and he thinks he's hilarious, and he thinks he can just say whatever he wants, and like, ugh, I'm sure he's a good guy though in real life.
Well, actually, I mean, that's the funny part, because apparently he plays himself like he's like, it's a very old school mentality. I mean, The Undertaker did it for 30 years.
Yeah.
But to like basically anytime anyone sees you in public, you're still that character.
Yeah.
So he kind of plays on that, because that's what I actually like a lot of old school wrestlers and like old school, even like old veterans.
Yeah.
In wrestling do like MJF, because he's basically resembles like, how do they say, like you have some of the new, but then also a little bit of the old. There's a better way of saying it, but that's basically the idea. Is his way that he talks, how he even like down to the fact that he like chews gum so arrogantly.
Yeah, I even remember when I said, I was like, he could have spit out his gum before he went out there.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
You were like, no, it's a part of the character. I was like, oh.
Yeah, okay. Things like that people would consider like an old school heel, and like a lot of people like that, you know. Even things like his moveset, like the eye poking, the back raking, you know, playing dirty, you know, using the ref as a human shield, or even getting mad at the ref. So yeah, that's a lot of old school, you know, heel work for you.
Yeah.
But so he does it so well where you just hate him.
Yes.
You know, and then even to the fact that like, he's younger than me. He's like, what, a year or two older than you?
Yeah, he's a year older than me.
A year older than you, and then Jungle Boy's your age.
I mean, he could be less than a year older. I don't know. We would have to compare the dates. Because I'm getting ready to be 23. So.
Yeah, that's just so crazy. It makes me feel so old, because when I was a kid, and if I was a kid like 10 years old and I saw a wrestler like, let's say Matt and Jeff Hardy, they were like in their early 20s.
Yeah.
I think they were like in their 20s whenever I was a kid watching them. And it's like, to me, that just felt so much older. And now it's like, I'm older than a lot of these wrestlers.
Yes.
Like, I don't know. That just feels weird.
Yeah.
So next, no, that was a good match. I love all the like the good spots they did, like when they had the 4 men down, and then
I'm
they
glad
had
Jurassic Express won.
Oh yeah, no, that was good. Yeah,
because is badass.
They had whatchamacallit. They had who did it first? MJF and Jungle Boy popped up first when they were laying down, because they had all 4 of them laying down on the 4 corners, and then MJF and Jungle Boy popped up, and then Wardlow and Luchasaurus popped up, and then Wardlow and Luchasaurus went to the ground, and then Jungle Boy like jumped off of them and then did a Canadian Destroyer, flipping MJF backwards into a pile driver. Yeah, that's stuff like that is insane, and yeah, I'm glad that picked up the win. Technically, that was MJF's first loss in AEW, but he tweeted after that. He tweeted after that what did he say? Jack Perry was born into millions of dollars and pretends to be an underdog. Luchasaurus spent his parents' hard-earned money to get a doctorate, ... in medieval history. But I'm the bad guy. Can't wait for Wednesday.
Wow.
And then after the match, he put, I've never been pinned or submitted. I'm still undefeated. Because he lost the match, but technically they pinned Wardlow. So he's technically still undefeated, but not. I don't know.
Oh, my God. Funny. Of course, he had to let people know.
Yeah.
He's so cocky.
So then basically, drop my pen. I don't think I'll need that. Anyway. So basically after that, you had Lance Archer attack Joey Janela. I was outside, and you saw that, right?
stepped outside and I saw it. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, because Joey Janela is now with Sonny Kiss. If you haven't seen that vignette where Joey Janela is like at the bar and he's talking about like how he went from main eventing with Jon Moxley to like not even kind of just wrestling really. And he's like broken down. He's at the bar, and then he's walking down the street, and then who pulls up at a stoplight? Sonny Kiss.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, and then he gets in the car, and that basically they're a team now. Even changed up his ring gear. So we'll get into more of that match. So I just think if you hadn't seen that, watch that. That's pretty cool. It really has like an old, 80s Vice City type of feel. So that's pretty cool. So let's see who was next. So you had Hikaru Shida versus Penelope Ford for the AEW Women's Champion, and of course Hikaru Shida retained.
Yeah.
But that was a pretty good match. I mean,
yeah, it was okay. One thing I did notice, because I didn't want to say it during the first match with MJF and Jurassic Express, but then I noticed it during this match. Penelope Ford, she was so confident that she was gonna win. Like, I'm gonna be the champion after this. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, she played that character.
But she did it to like get people to think, oh my God, maybe she really is.
Yeah.
But I already knew. It's like, no, you're gonna be super, obsessed with yourself, and in this moment, but then in about 20 minutes you're gonna be, you're gonna look stupid.
Well, yeah, I mean, but
because you're gonna lose.
But in a way, well, yeah, it does kind of make them look stupid. But I mean, in a way, they want to look like that, and then allows them to kind of like because they know they're gonna lose beforehand, of course. So it allows them to kind of talk their shit because they're gonna lose anyway. So kind of okay.
Well, then maybe I should say it's just obvious.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
Try too hard.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yep. And of course, they weren't gonna take it away from Shida. I mean, she just won the title, and a lot of people want her to win the title. If there's anyone that I would say, from my rumblings in the internet community, in the internet wrestling community, if anyone's going to take it away from her, it's probably going to be Chris Statlander, but I don't know where she's at. I really haven't seen her the past few weeks. Hopefully she's not quarantining right now, like Moxley is, because night 2 was supposed to have John Moxley in the main event against Cage, but that didn't happen, and then something else happened with Cage, so we'll get into that. Cody Rhodes versus Jake Hager for the TNT title. I mean... yeah, I'm obviously have a bias towards AEW, right? I obviously like AEW a lot, mainly because I don't know. I just feel like it's the alternative that I've been wanting. Because even it's not like I just jumped over bandwagon as soon as they came out. It's like I already wasn't watching WWE for a few years, and I was kind of barely keeping up with the results, and I just wasn't interested. Like. I had the network. I was like, okay, I'll just keep my network. Pay-per-views. Yeah, just to watch pay-per-views. And even then, like, there's times where I wasn't even want to watch the pay-per-views. Like we talked about the Money in the Bank. I'm not even interested. AEW, when it came out, I was like, wow, this is kind of the alternative that I want. Like WWE is just too, I hate to compare it. It's still great. It's still going to have, I'm still going to watch it here and there for the people that I like. Yeah. Like with the Bray Wyatts, the New Days, who else do I like? See, I can't even really think of anyone on the top of my head. I'll still watch it, but it's just like I want a more kind of mature, more kind of like AEW makes the storylines seem realistic, and they kind of acknowledge the fact that like, yes, like this is a show. They WWE just like, I don't know, they just really push the edge on like people. They really want people to look at to watch TV and be like, okay, this is fucking fake. This is fucking stupid. Where in AEW, like, let's say a character like Orange Cassidy, it's like, it's a work, it's a gimmick, but it's like, it's still entertaining you. That's the point, It's kind of like meta in a way, or like they tend to like break the fourth wall a lot, especially on Being the Elite. On the Young Bucks YouTube show. But anyway.
It's funny.
I can't stand this TNT title thing, and I'm really not a fan of Cody Rhodes. I'm sorry. I really don't find him entertaining. I mean, he's obviously good for the company, and he brings a lot of eyes to the company, and he has a lot of fans, and he has the coolest, prettiest looking dog. But but as far as just like wanting to watch his stuff, I'm just like, meh. Cody won. Jake Hager got mad, knocked out the ref, and let's move on. So,
I don't even remember watching that.
Yeah, exactly. So you had Private Party with Matt Hardy versus Santana and Ortiz. Big fan of both of these. AEW is that, like I said, taking it seriously. The WWE tag team division is a joke, and I hate to compare it. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, people. Hate to compare it, but you kind of have to as far as a reference. Yeah. WWE, you have the tag team division. We have tag teams every week going bowling, going golfing, competing like that, right? Yeah. In WWE, you actually have multiple tag team matches, 6-man tag matches, 8-man tag matches, and it's just nonstop action, which is great, which is why we watch wrestling. We don't, there's a time and place for everything in wrestling. Like I've said before, I think in wrestling it needs to have those. It is basically like a big Cirque du Soleil show. Yeah. Right? So you're going to have those bits. You're going to have your action bits. You're going to have your drama bits. You're going to have, your funny bits. That's the thing about pro wrestling. Like same thing as like a Cirque du Soleil show. They find a way to entertain every type of person within the show. So that's the point. With like tag team matches. I think that just so much action, and that's what I like to see. Just nonstop boom 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 boom. Some people don't like that. Some people like to watch a slowed down, heavy chops, heavy punches, headlocks, things like that. But me, I prefer the boom 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 action. Like tag teams is basically what got me into wrestling as a kid. Yeah, you know, it was the Brood, it was the Hardys, it was the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, Ministry of Darkness, things like that, APA. Yeah. So it was basically tag teams of like the late 90s that got me in. So I've always liked tag teams for that boom action, and that's exactly what this match was. So awesome match. We had the after that's when Chris Jericho attacked Orange Cassidy, but we talked about that. Did you have anything to say about the tag team match?
I don't remember watching that one either.
Oh, okay, I'll just cut that. So then the main event, we had Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus Best Friends.
That one was good.
First of all, the freaking God, what's his name? Trent's mom.
Yes. Okay. Yes. That was like, yes, this is why I started watching, because you were like, what is going on? And that's when
his mom drove I know everyone's talked about it at this point. So if you're listening to this podcast, I know you probably listened to another podcast where they talked about it. But Trent's mom driving him to the, driving him stage side in a minivan is just the best thing.
And remember we were like, I bet, Tony Khan or whoever was like, okay, which one of you's moms have a minivan,
He's like, oh, my mom does. Yeah. And then like they used his mom again on the Being the Elite. Let me see if I can pull it up here. It was a quick scene. It's funny that his mom was like game,
Yeah. You know what? There's nobody in your crew.
We beat you guys real quick one
time.
In Halloween costume.
Dude, that's uncalled for.
Yeah, you're being rude.
And you want to say the Dark Order doesn't do anything?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm going to show you our newest recruit.
Strongest recruit yet.
Hey, Greggy.
Mom.
Hey.
You can't join cults.
Yes, I could.
Dude, not a cult.
What?
Yeah,
are you drinking this? Did you drink this?
It's my Kool-Aid.
Mom, she loves it. Let her have it. Mom, I should have never brought you here. You guys are monsters. Hey, leave her. Give me. She's my mom. It's my goddamn mom. Oh, let's go.
Hey, you spooky perverts leave Sue out of this, all right?
Shut Taylor.
Sue.
Come on.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, that's like what you could expect on Being the Elite.
# we love Sue.
That's hilarious.
I want people to be afraid of how much they love me.
Of course, great match overall. Honestly, really great match. Best Friends.
Yeah.
Really getting up there as far as like one of my favorite tag teams right now. But after the match, you had FDR come out, offer them a beer. Kenny pretended to take a sip and then pours it out.
Yes.
Now, this is where it gets interesting because they've been teasing the Hangman Page breakup for months because Hangman Page was originally part of what they call, the Elite. So they've been teasing that he's kind of been wanting out. He's been kind of like, even on Being the Elite on YouTube, all the segments he's in, he's always kind of like not interested. They had like an intervention segment where they tried to get him to stop drinking. They said that him drinking is when he became a dick, because that's basically what it is. He's kind of like a dick to the Young Bucks, and he kind of like he kind of seems like he just puts up with Kenny at this point. So like, again, this is what I mean. I love the little storytelling because everyone can kind of resemble that, or kind of resonate to that. You ever been part of a group where you kind of just weren't feeling them anymore and you kind of just wanted out, but then you kind of feel stuck because they're your friends, you've known them for a long time, and then you're kind of just torn. That's kind of like the thing that Hangman Page is doing right now, and he wants to go on his own path. That's kind of what they're basically, it seems like, of course there always could be a swerve, but it seems like that's what they're building up towards. And then so when you had Kenny pour out the beer and they kind of get into an altercation, Hangman was actually mad at Kenny for pouring out the beer, and then you had the split up. You had the Young Bucks and Kenny, because Young Bucks immediately came out. You had the Young Bucks and Kenny on one side, and then you had FTR with Hangman on the other side, and you're kind of like, whoa, what's going on here? So of course that could just be foreshadowing for, because Kenny and Hangman are champions right now. So I bet one or two things: either Hangman purposely like betrays Kenny and has them lose against a team like FTR during the match, or they lose the titles to a team like FTR, and then basically like he attacks Kenny and breaks up with them after the fact. So either way, Hangman, because honestly his character doesn't really fit with the Elite. If anything, he fits more with FTR. But I mean, honestly, like I think it's time Kenny and Hangman is, I mean, both of them just need to be on their own, just in the main event scene. Honestly, I would like to see both of them on a 6-month feud for the AEW, 6 month to a year long feud for the AEW title, because that's a thing. If you hadn't, like, you really hadn't, like you, for example, you really hadn't known Kenny Omega before AEW.
Yeah.
And like, it's so frustrating because Kenny Omega before AEW was like on top of the world. He like always looked like $1 million. When he came out, his outfits were always badass. His entrances were always badass. He was like the king of the world in Japan, and his matches were just insane. And in AEW, it's like he literally, it's like I've said this before, it's like he literally said, okay, I want to play this out like I'm in a wrestling video game, where I want to put me all the way down to the bottom and let me climb my way up, which I can see. You know, obviously I don't come from that world. I'm not a wrestler, so I don't know how exactly that works with locker room politics. I can see why he would want to do that, but shit, speed it up. You know, like I want to. Yes, like I'm a fan of Kenny Omega. He's probably one of my favorite. I mean, it's hard to say. It's subjective, but he's probably one of my top favorite wrestlers of all time.
Yeah.
But I want to already see him on top. I want to see him fight for that title. I want to see him look like $1 million. I want to see him have,
because you think of him that way. So
exactly.
You wanna,
and then what he's doing in AEW is kind of disappointing. But I don't want to be that fan, because there are a lot of, the wrestling community has a lot of toxic fans that are just not satisfied with anything you do unless it's exactly what they want to do, which is never. You can't, like, it's so easy to throw it out there with WWE, but try that on any show. Like, that's just, it just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So I'll give him benefit of the doubt, see how it goes. Like I said, this whole long build up with Hangman and the Elite, this has been really good. So when that finally breaks, it's gonna be awesome. Awesome story. Yeah, I'm gonna be fucking jizzing myself. Oh God, nerdy things. And if you're listening to this, people, and you're not a wrestling fan, I'm sorry. I'm a nerd for it. You know, yes, I know it's not real. It's a TV show, for fuck's sake, just like any other TV show. This is why I like it, because I like watching a live action stunt show. Like I said, a live Cirque du Soleil, or, you know, Cirque du Soleil with the story on TV.
Yeah.
You know, they don't jump off the rope and then yell cut and then have a stuntman come in and then jump for them. They're their own stuntman. So that's why I like it. Moving on. So overall, what did you think of night 1 of Fyter Fest, Caylin?
Let me rate it on a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay.
Let's see, 7.
7's good. 7, yeah, that's solid. All right, I'll take that. Take that.
What about you?
Give it like 6.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it more than you.
I mean,
just a little
that,
bit.
but that's me being picky as a.
Yeah, you're the true fan at heart.
Yeah.
I love it.
I was entertained.
Yeah.
6 is entertained.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
And then you go up from there.
Yeah.
There we go. So, night 2 kicked off with Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus Private Party for the AEW titles. Again, another awesome action-packed match. You had Kenny Omega and Hangman beat Private Party. They retain the titles. So I mean, like I said, tag team matches are just awesome. I love the tension between Kenny and Hangman. It's just, you can just tell he doesn't really want to be there, but he's kind of stuck because he's champion. So it's so interesting. Next, you had Lance Archer beat Joey Janela. I haven't talked about Lance Archer much. I mean, he's basically just like a monster.
Oh yeah, he's the tall guy with the big beard, right?
Yeah, and the freaking he has the big red braids. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he has a beard.
Oh wait, who am I thinking of then that has a beard?
I mean, he has a beard, but it's not. Well, I mean, yeah, he has the little braids in his beards. Yeah, he does have a long beard. Now I'm thinking of this guy.
Oh, I'm thinking of somebody else.
Who are you thinking of?
I'll figure it out. Hold on.
He's just a monster. So he beat the hell out of Joey Janela, of course. Joey Janela played his part. What?
Brody Lee.
Oh, Brody Lee.
Yeah.
Brody's badass. I didn't like the idea of what he was doing at first, but now I like it. So, of course, like we said, we didn't have Brian Cage versus Jon Moxley because Jon Moxley is literally at home quarantine because his wife got COVID or was exposed to COVID or something like that.
Yeah. I think you told me that she got it.
Yeah, so that's probably what I heard, that she got it. So So then you actually has, now this was really cool. So I've been a fan of Taz for a long time because I don't know, I always feel like I resonated with Taz because he was a short, stocky dude like myself. And I don't know, I just always wanted to see him, you know, wrestle. And when he was on commentary, I was always enjoying him on commentary. So he in ECW, it was never really official, but he had his own title, his own version of the championship in ECW, and it was called the FTW championship. But it was, like I said, I don't even think he really even defended it in ECW. Might have been before ECW. I'm gonna honestly brush up on my research, but I know for sure he never defended it. He might have just came out with it. But anyway, there's only 2 versions of it. I know that for sure. He has the original version, and then a belt maker, Dave Milliken, I believe that's how you say it, has another version of it. So literally, that's it. I say that because as a nerd myself, I would love to have one of those, like a FTW FTW championship. I just think, like, it has a basic look, you know, like but it honestly looks better than the TNT championship, and that's honestly, and it's a 21-year-old title, and it's like all scraped up, and you can see paint chips, and I don't know, it just looks so badass. It looks so like Taz said, renegade shit. And he basically said, I don't know if they're going to use this title in AEW. I actually would enjoy it, you know, even kind of more, because you can use it as a kind of extreme / hardcore / X division type champion, which I'm saying belts, you know, in other organizations. So, because Taz said since Jon Moxley wasn't there to defend the title, he was going to give his FTW championship to Brian Cage, and he basically said whoever holds that belt is the baddest motherfucker in AEW, which is basically, you know, playing off of UFC's, you know, bad motherfucker belt. So I think that's, I don't know, I you know, say what you want about it. I know a lot of younger people don't like it because that's the main thing I'm seeing on comments is, oh, that belt looks ugly, and like I see people commenting back like, dude, do your research, that belt's 21 years old, like,
that's why, because
younger fans don't know. You know, it's funny. What'd you think of it?
I mean, I guess it was pretty, you know, badass the way, and I like the way too. My favorite part, honestly, this has nothing to do, I guess, with, well, it does with the unveiling of it, you know, when he took it out of the little sack. But I love the,
That's what she said.
Why did I say that?
Do you think Brian Cage looks like $1 million?
What?
Do you think Brian Cage looks like $1 million?
I mean, I don't really know who he is. Like, he's not really hot? One of the. No.
You think he's hot?
No.
I do.
No, actually, the one thing I was thinking of was I wish somebody would shave those little cutouts of his beard because it looks fucking retarded.
He's got those mutton chops.
Honestly, like, what is that?
Oh, man.
No, my thing was I like when he, like, you know, took it out. You already knew.
That's what she said.
You gotta find better words.
I know. You know what I mean, though.
Okay.
I love that you knew what it was. You were like, oh, that's the FTW champion.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah, is it? And then sure enough.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I was racking my brain. I was like, is it ECWs? And I was like, no, we can't do that. And I was like, FTW. Fuck. Because I just put two. I didn't hear any spoilers, but I just put 2 and 2 together because he just came out with the FTW shirt, which I want. And I'm probably going to place an order tonight and get it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's awesome. But yeah, so that was an awesome segment, man. I really liked it. What they're doing with Taz and Brian Cage. Yeah. So then you had another, freaking Lucha Brothers badass tag team.
Oh yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, Butcher and Blade badass tag team.
Yeah.
Young Bucks badass tag team. FTR badass tag team.
Yeah.
So you had Lucha Brothers and the Butcher and the Blade versus Young Bucks and FTR. Holy shit.
That was
like I said,
one.
This match is pretty much the definition of why I started watching wrestling and why I love wrestling.
All
like
the action, right?
Exactly.
It was crazy,
yeah, you can love wrestling for any reason, honestly, but this is why I love it. The nonstop fucking crazy action that was going on. Yeah. It's so cool.
For a second, I'm trying to watch it. I'm like, whoa, like, what is going on? Because it was too much at one time.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, like, I even called it I didn't call it right before the Lucha Brothers won. I was like, shit, I should have called it because I knew, you know, Lucha Brothers returning. They hadn't wrestled in a while. That they were going to win. They were going to pick up the win for this match.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because you had the story of FTR and Young Bucks losing because you actually had the accidental super kick on their own teammates.
Yeah.
I was halfway paying attention, so I don't know which Young Buck super kicked which FTR, but yeah, I'm sorry guys.
I remember that.
What'd you think of that?
I guess it was okay. I mean, like you said, all the action, jam packed in there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
After that, you had Nyla Rose beat some jabbers. So
no name.
Yeah, so I think this is a funny story to tell because you didn't know what like a jobber was and what the point was because you were like, who are these people? I've never seen them before. So I think it was cool how I explained to you the point of them being there. They're just there to make Nyla Rose look like a badass, and so you can just beat the shit out of two people and make her look like a monster. Mm-hmm. And then she made the announcement, of course, that she's gonna get a manager and go after the title. Which
I saw on Instagram. I saw on Instagram a picture of Sue. Somebody who posted Sue, Trent's mom, right?
Oh yeah,
was in the audience. And somebody was like, oh, can anybody... Or no, they posted and put... I think they put can anybody guess who this is? And I was looking at the comments, and of course I came to the realization that it was Sue. And somebody commented, Sue is Nyla Rose's manager.
Dude, that would be fucking hilarious if Sue...
I was like,
oh my God. She just goes with their son to all their shows and works with them. That's hilarious. That would be the best, behind-the-scenes story ever. I would love... for AEW to do a show just of that, just following Trent and Sue go around, travel, work show to show. That would be great.
Yeah, but as far as the manager, I don't know who it could be.
Yeah,
I'm the wrong person.
Beats me. Ask. I don't know either.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be anyone at this point. They can bring anyone in.
We'll wait and see. Did she mention because I know she's like, oh, I don't want to say it yet.
Probably next week or the week after.
Yeah.
Well, next week is Fight for the Fallen, so I bet next week. That's another thing, if you don't know, people, next week is another quote-unquote kind of pay-per-view for AEW. They're going to raise money for COVID relief. I don't know how. Oh. Because it's a free pay-per-view.
It's probably going to be one of those where you can call and donate.
Yeah.
As things are going on. What do they call those? Telethon?
Hotlines.
Or hotlines, yeah.
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 Interesting. So, and then you had the Dark Order beat SCU. So I love the storytelling in this with whole Colt Cabana, and they're trying to bring him into the cult. They let him pick up the win. He was hurt, and they're like, hey, or Brody Lee was like, hey, maybe if you're with us, this wouldn't happen to you. And it's like, I immediately even told you, I was like, I bet you he had someone beat him up so he can tell him that.
Yeah.
And then he tells Colt Cabana to get ready. Colt Cabana's basically so meta. He's basically I would say a parody wrestler, but he's badass, you know? So the fact that someone like him in the Dark Order is very, very interesting. And I just love that storytelling, like I said, and they let him pick up the win, and he was so happy. It's like when you let your little brother, finally win in the game or something like that.
When
and it's
your little cousin play games on your phone.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, oh, I got the pin. So of course they're doing that story with, is Colt Cabana going to join them? And if he does, is he going to change? And maybe he does, the actual guy, maybe he wants something serious, and maybe this is his way to kind of change his gimmick into a more serious role. So who knows? We'll see what happens.
When Brody Lee was telling him, go get ready, and he responded with, yes, Mr. Brody.
Right.
Or, yes, Mr. Brody.
Yeah.
That was creepy. And then they even talked about it when they were coming out on commentary.
Yeah,
I noticed.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's some cult shit right there. Yep. So next week is actually going to be the Jon Moxley Brian Cage at Fight for the Fallen. So I think they announced that after this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You can come out of the quarantine.
Yeah, so that'll be something. I guess next week we'll do another episode reviewing that.
Right.
So if you don't enjoy these wrestling episodes, go and let us know right now. We'll instead do a bonus episode on that if we get feedback like that. But so far, honestly, the wrestling episodes are some of the most viewed episodes that we have, which is awesome. I mean, I'm glad that there's that many wrestling fans out there. So thank you for listening again, people. And then of course you had Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy. Yeah. Now, good match overall.
Oh yeah.
Now, when it was at the end and you had Chris Jericho beat Orange Cassidy, what did I say? I was like, nope, don't like that. Nope. Don't like that at all.
You were completely turned off.
Because I literally thought Orange Cassidy was going to be, because now it's not, the problem that I have is not necessarily that Jericho won, it's how he won. It's he made Orange Cassidy look like $1 million because he made him look so tough and resilient, but it's like, you have the Judas effect. which is supposed to be this dominating move that nobody kicks out of, right? Yeah. Then you have Floyd, the bat. That's his name of his bat. So he has the bat. So you had, you set up a whole distraction. You had Santana and Ortiz throw the orange juice on Orange Cassidy. The best friends come out. They attack him. The referee's distracted. Jericho uses the bat, hits him with the Judas effect. 1, 2, Orange Cassidy kicks out. Now, as soon as I saw that, now it could be that this is what they wanted to do. They wanted to swerve us. Yeah. But as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, Orange Cassidy's going to win. Not because he kicked out of that, but because why would you set up that whole distraction, hitting him with the move that, obviously you want to put over as a dominated move. Yeah. Hits him with the bat. That's a fucking bat. Have him kick out, and then y'all wrestle for 5 more minutes, and then you beat him. It's like, why? It's like, I understand you want to make him look tough, but don't, do something else. Yeah. Just hit him with the bat. Don't do your finisher too. Yeah. It's like, I just didn't like that because that immediately is like,
I think the bat would have been enough.
Right? Yeah. So it's like, I just didn't like that. If you want to have a Jericho win, hit him with the bat, hit him with your finisher, and then that's it. You win. Yeah. If that would have happened, I would have been fine. I would have been like, okay, that was a good match. Yeah. Orange Cassidy still looked like $1 million, but I don't know. I just didn't like the fact that he kicked out of all of that, and then just for him to lose 5 minutes later, it's like, I mean, what does that really prove? Like, we already know he's tough as shit. Do we need to know that he was tough for 5 more minutes? Like, no, not really.
No, we don't.
Yeah, exactly. And I wouldn't have been opposed to an upset, having Orange Cassidy win in a surprising way, but that didn't happen. Like I said, I'm not mad that Jericho won. I just didn't like the way it played out. Yeah, it was done.
The way they decided to go.
Yeah, exactly. But that was just my opinion. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Overall, I think it was good. It was a good match. Yeah.
What about the whole 2 nights in general? What do you think?
Let's see. On a scale of 1 to 10, night 2, I think I'll give that one. I think that one deserves a 7 too. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd probably give it an 8.5. Oh, okay. Mainly because that tag team match. Yeah. So badass. Did we miss another tag team match? There was a 6-man too. Did we talk about that? Oh, the Dark Order match. Yeah. And I see. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. We talked about that. Just making sure we didn't forget anything.
Yeah. No problem.
Not bad. So, what else you got for me, Caylin?
I don't know. I don't think anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready to get out of here?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, guys, let us know what you think. Send us some emails. Let us message us on Instagram, and let us know your thoughts on AEW's. I was gonna say Fight for the Fallen Fyter Fest. Let us know what you think on night 1, night 2. Give us your feedback on the podcast. Like we said, any comments, questions, suggestions.
Don't be afraid to comment. We see you on Instagram.
Right?
Just comment.
And we see that people are literally listening all around the world.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to reach out, guys.
We want to hear,
Yeah, like we said, the listeners are the most important part because how do we know what to put out there if it's not for the listeners? Right now, we're just going off of what gets the most views. Like I said, the wrestling ones, the weird facts, the top 10 workout or lists, and the wrestling ones are the top viewed podcasts. So I mean, hey, if that's what's working right now, we'll do it. But if you're opposed, let us know what you like. Because we pretty much, this podcast is set up because we didn't want to be put in a category. We wanted to literally do podcasts about anything and everything, and that's what we're doing. But let us know, guys. Thank you again so much for listening. Caylin, final words.
Peace out.
All right, guys. Peace and love. Thank you for listening, and you will hear from us soon.
Bye, guys.